What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Steven. This is Steven in Stereo, and in today's video we're diving into another album from RM. I just recently checked out Right Place, Wrong Person as well as Mono, and you guys can check those out as full uncut album listening parties / uncut reactions. We don't cut anything out of those. Available on Patreon, the link's in the description, along with this Indigo one. If you want to watch this as a full uncut album listening party, check that out, links in the description. But we just did those and I truly loved what I heard so much. I didn't know what to expect going in. You know, you listen to a group like BTS, there's so much talent, right? But like each member brings something unique. So going through and doing this, I really didn't know what to expect, but I was blown away by listening to Right Place, Wrong Person. I love the production on that so much. I love the lyricism. I just love the emotion that was going through that record. So it led me to want to listen to Mono. Ho, amazing moment. So if you guys want to check those reactions, they're on YouTube. But I'm really excited to dive into Indigo. Excited to see what we get. I see a lot of collaborations on this, which is going to be really cool. So yeah, make sure you guys like the video. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel. Check out Patreon if you want to support the page. If not, that's okay too. But with all things out of the way, let's start with Yun, featuring Erykah Badu, by the way, which is a pretty cool feature. Hey. That bass. Oh yeah, dude. I'm such a fan of RM coming in with that attitude. You guys know that. I also love that he said, fuck the trendsetter, let me take you back to when I was 9. I love his flow. Oh, I fucking love him in that entire verse. Obviously, I'll have to look at the lyrics later because I don't know what he's saying in a lot of that, but I love just how aggressive he comes in. He's so good at making his presence known on a track. I've said that before, but it's just so true. I feel like when you have an instrumental, it already draws you in, and then you have a vocal presence like this. But what I also love is having a verse like that and then having this super awesome Erykah Badu feature, even in the chorus. Incredible.
Cause true beauty is a true sadness. Now you can feel my madness.
Okay, wait a minute. So what I just heard there is he's saying, I'm a human, I want to do my art. And then he says, essentially like what you're experiencing is a true sadness, almost as if the things that I'm dealing with, I want to use that sadness as an art expression for my human side, to be able to put my human emotion out there for you to be able to feel it, or like he says, for you to experience my madness.
What it did with the techniques, what it did with the skills, what it did with all the words in your lyrics that you can feel. That's
what I'm talking about when I say like he just finds the perfect placement for himself in these instrumentals.
The techniques, what it did with the skills, what it did with all the words in your lyrics that you can feel.
It has to be so hard to switch languages like that while also having this sort of flow and cadence, this tempo. Being able to just like deliver hip-hop lines is already hard enough, but he is straight up switching languages in the middle of it, and that's got to just make it so much more challenging.
I want to be a human for do some art.
Yes.
It's a cruel world, but this gon' be my part.
Oh, I actually I kind of see what he's saying here. I want to be a human before I do some art. So it almost feels like rather than the human part of me is making this artistic expression, it's more so I already make this artistic expression, but I'm doing so much that I'm losing my human side. So before I do all of those things, before I entertain everybody else, I need to put a little bit of love into myself. I am such a fan of that instrumental. It's got this good like R&B kind of feel to it, and of course having Erykah Badu on that chorus to give it that, again, that R&B feel, those really beautiful just vocals that she delivers. So cool there. I feel like this song is kind of touching on a couple topics, but all kind of around the same. At first, my experience of the song was us picking up an idea of using art as an expression, you know, finding a way to be able to put your sadness into songs, putting your sadness into entertainment and whatever it is that you love. That is typically, you know, what we do when we express ourselves. We do it in the hobbies that we do, or the lifestyle that we live, or the music or the art that we make. But I feel like the other side of it is RM was part, or is part, of a very big and famous group, and they put a lot of effort and work into that. And so when he says, I want to be a human before I make my art, it really makes me think about, oh, I am very empathetic of the fact that, yeah, you probably don't get much of a regular human experience. And here's the thing, people would absolutely give up everything to be in the position that he is in. And I don't think he's saying anything that would make you think otherwise. And I don't think he's saying that he doesn't appreciate it. I think he's saying that I'm struggling with myself, and I feel like I'm putting my humanness to the side to entertain. So maybe if I can make myself feel more human, then entertaining won't be, you know, so difficult, or won't be such a drag. And honestly, I think we see more and more, we see artists that are more willing to say, hey, I love making music, but this is getting really hard for me right now. And I wish that we could hear more artists say that rather than, you know, suffer in silence. So I don't know if that's completely what the song's about, but that is definitely the vibe I'm picking up on this. And again, I love his vocal style and tempo throughout this. All right, Still Life featuring Anderson .Paak.
I'm still alive. I'm still alive. I'm still alive. Cause I'm untied. 계속 전시되는 내 삶. Yeah, 그래도 삶. 아직도 삶. 과거는 가버렸고 미래는 모르는.
Oh yeah.
두 갈래 길에서 숨걸어 일본을 좀마저 같이 처음부터 걸어보신 높아. I'm still alive.
Those drums come in so good.
벌어지듯 온라인에 목숨 걸어 트랜스세러 I'm a friend better 시상해질 정도의 고액예로 결국 네가 원하는 대로는 되지 않았지 바른 건 달리 너무 잘 살아내는 내 뜻대로 Y'all can lock me in the frame I'm moving Yeah I'm still alive Life is better than the devil proving
Oh yeah. Wait, I'm surprised this song, I mean, this song has 80 million streams, but like, I don't know if this is a single, if it was released as a single, but I'm really surprised if it's not, because this is such an upbeat summer vibe. This came out December 2nd, so it missed the summer by just a little bit. That's kind of a bummer, because I feel like this would be such a great single. I love this because the idea behind the song, based on the lyrics that I could understand, is this idea that you could lock me in a picture, you could lock me in a frame, and I would still be able to move. I'd find movement, I'd find life and joy in that. And I think the idea being, no matter what the situation that you're in, you want to be able to find a way to live through that part, because still life kind of has multiple meanings. It's like a still life, maybe someone tries to capture this from you and steal that from you. Not steal, but, you know, make it where you don't have that movement, that freedom, that love. But also the idea that, like, there's still life, there's still opportunity to live, there's still more things that you need to experience in your life, right? And, you know, he even says, I'm going to show you that, like, life is better than death. And I think sometimes we have to remind ourselves of this. And, like, I know it seems crazy to think, like, oh, you have to remind yourself that, like, life is awesome and it's great, but, like, you really do, because sometimes when you're suffering and you're sad and you're negative, or it's so easy to stay in that. It's so easy to stay in that mindset. It's so easy to fall further and further down the rabbit hole. It's really hard to be positive, right? But the harder that you try, you know, sometimes that power really helps. Sometimes it sucks too, right? It can be difficult. But what I love about this is, because the song is so upbeat, the whole thing is supposed to motivate you and inspire you to go out and live your life. And I love that. And again, I love RM's presence on a track. He's just so cool. And him and Anderson just like ad-libbing and switching verses back and stuff, like the two of them made me just want to hang out. Like, that's really fucking cool that you can just have that kind of chemistry on a track. So the next track we're going to listen to is All Day, featuring Tableau.
요즘 광고는 똑같아 일단은 즐겨라 내 맘대로 멋진 옷을 입은 멋진 춤추는 이들 밖은 몸치가 더 많네 안 주는 내 바이오리듬 언제쯤 써보게 될까 나만의 신은 살아남느라 잊혀진 dream에 너도 한나쯤 별이 돼버린 I'm taking all day.
love hearing RM on trap drums. I will say that forever. I hope that one day he just does a full trap project.
What we doing here 전부 제자리 수밖에 죄다 줄일게 They
Oh.
want you in fear 이상감이 생각을 말해 어서 접어 origami They got you by your balls and your social economics That's big facts Hey I'ma be that way 눈 부릅뜨고 알아서 잘 지낼게 Haters 어서 눈 감아 내 인생 꼴보기
Ooh, so I feel like I know what the song's about. I just want to pull the lyrics up because there are a couple things that I heard in there. So give me 1 second. Okay, so I just read the lyrics of this and it was exactly what I was thinking about with this track, which is it's essentially a reminder that you're going to have a lot of things that are going to pull you down in your life. You're going to have a lot of things, especially when it comes to, you know, at one point RM says, fuck the AI, fuck the algorithm, you know, you're trying to throw me off my own rhythm. And I think the idea is we have so many things, so many outside influences that are trying to steal our energy. They're trying to steal our life from us, our dreams, our passions, everything we love. RM goes through something in his verse where he's talking about how even the commercials, the ads, everything is always trying to sell us this thing that takes us away from the thing that we really care about. And then we have a society that is consistently trying to kind of judge you based on your socioeconomic status and just various pieces of your life. The point being that all these outside influencers are trying to take everything that you want away from you. And you have to be willing to continue to dream every single day and to continue to push forward with that. And I really appreciate that because I see a couple things here. Being somebody who is as famous as RM, I feel like on one end, you're already having to deal with a lot of those issues when it comes to like social media and things like that, because I feel like there is this pressure to always post and at the same time always have to like be taking this criticism from all these people. It can be very draining and challenging. And at the same time, you're always pushing to make yourself better than you know the next person, and we're always kind of judging our life based on other people's lives. The point is, if you step away from that sometimes, go out and breathe, let your mind find some clarity, you can actually, you know, find a way to reset yourself. And I love, again, this upbeat tempo that, you know, just reminds you of the happiness if you're not feeling it in the lyrics or if you're not understanding it. Because remember, like, obviously not everybody understands the language, right? So there is a language barrier, but at the same time, if you can push the emotion, like I understood the song, maybe not as deep before I looked at the lyrics, but I understood kind of what they were saying. It's this push and motivation of life. So you being able to pick that up in the sound without even knowing the lyrics is really fucking sick. All right, this next track is Forgetful, I'm guessing, featuring Kim Sawal.
왜 기억하질 못하냐 해 연애하는 아침과 각자의 방식들로 스스로 마취해가요.
Okay, so RM says, I keep forgetting about yesterday. I don't know what today is either. I keep forgetting the me of yesterday. I'm only 26. Why can't I remember? My friends are sad. I'm sorry. I have so many thoughts. I don't have enough memory. This is exactly what it's like getting older, but I imagine that getting older and having fame the way RM does, I think it's even more difficult because you really do kind of experience so many things all at once and that life just sort of like passes you by.
공원에 가지 않으면 돼요 나 자연의 색이 좋아요 어차피 다시 간 문제예요 너도 그게 필요할걸요 yeah.
I love the vocal, like I just love the parallel of the two vocals. Like to me, it's so fun. Look, here's the thing. Everybody's voice sounds different, but I love that RM sings in this little bit of a lower voice, right? So then when you have this higher range come in, it's just, it, especially over an acoustic track, it's one of my favorite things. I don't know why. It's little things like that in music that I end up like nerding out over, but I don't know. It sounds so nice to me. Like Kim's on the track and I'm like, oh yeah, this is so great after already having this emotional piece in the beginning of the song. Okay, so Kim says, with numerous thorns, the morning that comes and goes, in my own way, I am anesthetizing myself. Yeah. So what it feels like to me is with numerous storms, with the experiences that I'm having with the traumas or the pain or the sadness, whatever those things are, they are consistently kind of like aiding to me forgetting about other things, kind of forgetting about the things I enjoy. It's almost like with every piece of pain, I tend to hold on to that, and I let that kind of navigate things rather than trying to embrace the new things when they happen, even though I've had bad things happen to me in the past. I mean, this is exactly what sucks about having trauma. Oh yeah, right there. Oh, RM has like a softness to his voice. I love it too because it actually kind of sounds, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's just because the way it was recorded, but actually it sounds like it's a nostalgic song, like you're taking a trip down memory lane. But the song and like the vibe of the song and the lyrics of the song feel very different to me. I feel like the vibe of the song feels like it's a nostalgic, upbeat sort of walk down memory lane, but like the lyrics of the song really sort of like make me feel like the experiences that are being had are causing me to forget the things that make me happy. I'm really only able to remember the things that make me sad. So, for example, think of a park and how beautiful it is, and you look at the grass and the flowers and all those things. But like, if you have enough traumas at some point when you look, or like not even traumas, but when you have enough, bad situations, heartbreak, sadness, anxieties, whatever, then sometimes when you look at that park, you don't see the beauty of it anymore. You see your experiences with it. And this can be very debilitating in a lot of ways. I just feel like having that kind of vibe to the song, again, the instrumental plus the lyrics, it's sick. All right, this next track is Closer with Paul Blanco and Mahalia. Oh, love that R&B feel. You can also give it to like typical R&B. Now this could just be like vinyl cracking, but it also kind of sounds like rain, and I love that because I feel like R&B and rain go together so well.
I feel it most of the night time, yeah. Me never on your timeline, yeah. See you always in the limelight, keep me fresh, yeah. I keep you right next to me.
Oh yeah.
Only just in my dream. I see you.
See, this is another song, like, I don't know, because I was not in a good place mentally in 2022, so I don't even know what the album run looked like for this, but this song also has a big single vibes to me, like the way that it is written to be very catchy and very radio friendly, and I love that.
Enough to you, I feel it most in the nighttime, even though that's when I'm closest to you.
It's because of a hook like this, like I feel like this is a radio song.
Closer than we've ever been.
Oh shit!
But the time won't stop when you and I make our lips stop, baby. How about I show you how I get down, baby?
Come on, it's not an R&B song without rain, a voicemail, some random sound effects in the back. Like, that is R&B 101 in the best way. Oh, the drums! Yes! Dude. Oh my god, so many things right here. So I noticed this in the last, in Mono as well, but also in Right People Wrong Place. The use of these like really cool electric guitars. They sound so cool, right? On top of that, I love RM's vocals here because it gives me this sort of like pop punk, like alternative pop punk kind of sound. The way that we hear like the MGKs of the world doing this like pop punk hip hop thing, I feel like you can hear something like that from RM in his vocals right here. Right here. Just looking at you. There's gonna be no day, so stay where you are. Oh, right there. I'm so glad that I am doing this. You guys can tell when I'm like really stoked about something. Like I did RM's Right Place Wrong Person album, and immediately every single day I've done one new album from him. And it just goes to show that like when you're really drawn to somebody's view of music, you just can't stop. And I feel that way about RM. The way that he sees music based on what I've heard, like with the records that we've listened to, I just feel like he views the music in the way that I view it, in the way that I hear it in my head. Like, I love to hear awesome guitars like that with this kind of vocal approach. And the thing about RM is, like, you wouldn't guess that this would be the sound because he's consistently good, but he consistently changes his sound. So sonically, you never really know what you're gonna get, but it's so cool to hear him, I don't know, just kind of like deliver a vocal style like this. Like, to be honest, I would love to listen to him over trap drums all day, like I said. And you get that in here, but you get that alt pop punk kind of sound from him. I just love his singing voice, I guess. And like the different kind of effects at the post-production, all kinds of shit. It just leads to a really great package for the listener. And I love this track so much because of that. As we continue listening to RM's music, I do hope that we hear even more moments like that from him because he has a really great singing voice. Okay, this is Change Part 2.
Things change, people change, everything change. But I loved you once, for me once, then for me twice.
Oh.
Shame on you, yeah, shook my interviews and years ago.
Oh.
I'm all different, not that anymore.
Wait, I am just such a fan of this. So right away, I love the attitude that's in the song, the aggressiveness coming from the instrumental. It's sort of like, it feels aggressive, right? It feels like he's about to talk his shit. And I love that because in the beginning, he's already saying like, look, I get it. The world changes. People change. However I've been to feel the way I felt from you or whatever the situation is, you know, I realize that was a choice too. And I'm going to change away from that. But I also love just how he starts to like, I don't know, like address things. There's just something about an attitude in a hip hop oriented track when you are going to get on there and just address shit. And I feel like that is exactly what, like, you know, we've got all up until this point, it's been all like features on this album. And this is the first solo song from him on this record. And I feel like there's a reason for that. You know what I mean? Like there's a reason for everything. Oh shit.
Things change, people change, everything change.
The production on this is so sick. Oh my God.
Love change, friends change, everyone change. No, it's no strange.
Even here, you've got this piano, right? And it sounds like a little bit, you know, scary, but also pretty at the same time. But then you have like this 808 that's just kind of like hitting behind some of these notes to keep that aggressiveness there. It's really cool.
And then you're not tall. You can't love someone like I do. That's all I can say to you.
Fuck, you can't love someone like I do. That's all I can say to you. So someone said in one of my comments that a lot of RM's music or even like BTS, sometimes the music can sound like it's part of a relationship. It could actually be about something even bigger. It could be about, you know, it's basically used, it's very symbolic so that you have a way to be able to have a song mean something about you or a relationship or something, but it also might have something bigger going on. And I feel like this song is one of those because right away, at least in my opinion, this feels like a relationship song, but not in the way that you would think, not just in a romantic relationship. It kind of seems like he's addressing relationships in general, either friendships with him or people that he's been acquaintances with or even love. So I feel like when he's talking about change and how people change, I think he's really like going through that as a journey through this. And I also feel like the instrumentation on this really delivers that too, because it is very like unsettling and aggressive. And then even whenever it gets more pretty with having a piano come in, again, we have that 808 that kind of brings that like, you know, tension back to it. And I feel like that's really important. And then even at the end when he says like, you know, no one's gonna love you like I'm gonna love you. I just feel like he's addressing shit. And I think it's so cool to be able to, again, the first song on this in which he is solo addressing shit. It's fucking sick. This next track is also him solo. It's called Lonely. And let's do it.
I'm fucking lonely.
Shit.
나 혼자 섬에.
Wait, so I wonder if this actually plays right off of the last one, because again, the last one addressing all that is also addressing those things and possibly like removing yourself from the situation or finally just realizing that you're no longer part of that situation. And then right into the next one, I'm fucking lonely. And it kind of feels like those two things, especially since they're the only two songs that are just him.
호텔 room 혼자 떴어 시끄러 So many memories.
Hold on. In a moment of eternity, it's neatly packed here. I hate this hotel room. I'm floating alone. He says, for the chorus, I'm fucking lonely, alone on this island. So fucking lonely, somebody call me. I kind of feel, and maybe I'm reading too much into this, but I feel like some of this has to do, this is a guess, but having so much fame in the way that RM has, and especially being associated and being a huge member of literally one of the biggest groups of all time, I think that in all of that popularity, in that success, in that fame, you will find a lot of sadness and loneliness because, you know, those external things are wonderful and following your dreams are wonderful, but sometimes it can be the loneliest thing in the world. I mean, now you have security. Now you can't go to the store. Now you can't do any of those things. So him saying, in a moment of eternity, it's neatly packed here. There's plenty of, like, everything's full, right? We're all here. I hate this hotel room. I'm floating alone. So to me, it's like, I'm floating alone. I have all of these things to be happy for. For all reasons, I should be uplifted and happy. So why am I uplifted and all alone? And I think I might be reading too far into this. Oh.
So fucking lonely. Wasted time, fucking text and I hasten.
Fuck.
YouTube and Netflix. Cause your phone so daytime or daytime. Man, I should go rendezvous.
Dude, he's really talking shit here. Like, when I say talking shit, I mean he's really just like spilling his tea. He's spilling all of himself. He says, "Bae, I gotta tell you something. I hate everything. I guess I'm wasted. Time fucking ticks and I hasten. YouTube and Netflix all day. Just a data on the phone dating. Rendezvous with the family every morning." I like all of this says to me, somebody who is struggling with the loneliness of fame, and anyone that can't like empathize with that or be compassionate with that just doesn't see, like, even though you're famous, you're still a person, you're still a human. And I think, like, when I think about track one and how he addressed that he wanted to be human before he made his art anymore, it's really making me drawn to the idea of no matter how much success he was getting, sometimes that's not everything. And you really do have to find yourself as a person. And obviously, the amount of loneliness from being on tour, being on the road, doing all those things, you're in a hotel room, you're essentially entertaining yourself all day, waiting for the show that night or waiting for the next thing on tour. So you really are just like, wow, all I'm doing is working and I just need to, like, experience being a human for a little bit. I'm fucking lonely. Oh yeah, that chorus right there. Let's go. It's the instrumental being upbeat like this too is just, I feel like it's just fuel to the fire, right? Because we have an upbeat track again, we're dancing, we're singing, and for all reasons this should be a celebration, but then lyrically you realize that that's the whole thing, is it should be a celebration, but it's not. I'm fucking lonely. I'm letting it play into the next one because I feel like I just talked so much through that song. This next track is Hectic with Cold.
That was nothing romantic.
See, he's really struggling with something there. Today was hectic. It wasn't romantic. Essentially, he's saying, like, I need to find a way to motivate me to even want to keep doing this.
If I could only imagine, just want another heaven.
See, RM is so interesting, and I can't wait till we dive further into BTS because I'll see even more of this happening. But because there is such a big range of music that RM can do, I'm really never, like, I never know what the song's gonna sound like, but I'm never worried about it either because he's gonna figure it out. Like, even in this song, I feel like this is like a synth pop kind of heavy track, right? It feels kind of dark, but it's got like an 80s vibe to it. And I love that it just sounds so fucking perfectly natural for him to be on this song. Oh yeah. So I think he's saying if I could only imagine one night of heaven, and to me it just means like if I could only dream up or imagine one thing that would bring me the happiness to keep me wanting to keep the chase up. And I think this becomes very hard. I think when you start to get everything you want, or when you start to kind of like experience all the things you want to experience, maybe the struggles and the difficulties are starting to not like give you the same reward or satisfaction that they did when you were first going through them. And so I think you get to a point where you're kind of doing the same thing over and over again, but you're not feeling any better about it. You become more and more lonely, more and more distant. Life becomes more and more hectic. And then you start to realize that maybe all this time on the road, maybe I'm not able to experience love, or maybe I'm not able to experience, those kind of memories, making memories with a loved one or with friends or my family or any of these things. I'm just out on this hectic road day after day, wondering if this is really what I still want to do. Oh yeah, such an 80s sound. So cool to hear RM over synths like this, you know what I mean? Like RM and Cold together, this is great. I love Cold Day, I'm not sure. I love his vocal style, especially over that chorus, with his voice having a little bit, like obviously a very different range, but I love the two of them together. But what's really cool overall is just RM over this like 80s, I don't know, like synth heavy track. That's sick to me. Okay, hold on. I want to look at the lyrics just to see if my idea of this track is right. All right, so I just read through the lyrics and I still feel the same way about this song. I think there's more that can be said about this song for sure, because it kind of feels like, at least at the end, I feel like RM's outro, or kind of like both of them together, at one moment he says like, hangover's over, the sensual city, sad nocturne life for soul, we miss another day. But then he says, what is happiness, this little piece I've been longing for? Leave those whose hearts have faded. The starry night we finally embroidered, which to me kind of seems like everybody that was like maybe lonely or sad all kind of came together and, just kind of like drank away their sadness, drank away, their desires or whatever. Because then he says, he said, well, basically at the end he says, we still love and hate this city. So it makes me feel like, yes, this could be about a relationship and all those trials and tribulations that could go on with those things. It could be about being part of something that you are starting to lose momentum on. And all those things can plug absolutely into the place that you're from or the city that you live in as well, because you live the same day over and over. And you start to wonder if all the trouble or the struggle or the consistency of the place that you live, if all those things are actually going to take more and more from you and actually make you sick of the place that you live. But then again, it doesn't take long to be away to realize that you do love where you live also. And that is where you get that love and hate that happens from any of us that have a hometown, which is all of us. You love that place so much, but then you also hate it at the same time. And I feel like if you are already having, a quote unquote hectic life, and then you're also feeling those ways in the home that you're in, you feel consistently lost. I feel like there is a lot going on in your life if you are this lost. But it kind of feels like RM is just shedding all of that and, I don't know, like letting us into his life a little bit. And again, hearing him over a synth heavy track like this is super cool because I feel like he can do no wrong when it comes to the styles that he does. And it all just makes me stoked to listen to way more BTS because obviously there's a lot of influences in that group. So the next track we're listening to is Wildflower featuring Eugene. Wait, what? It's fucking sick. Oh man, Honestly, RM could absolutely just be whatever the hit maker he wants to be. It's crazy. Like, the songwriting and execution on some of these songs is just so top notch that it just sounds like a radio hit right away.
시작의 전부터 나 상상했었지. 끝에 웃으며 박수 쳐줄 수 있게.
I love that little bit of rasp he has.
믿었던 게 다 멀어지던 때. Oh, every day and every night.
Oh,
Persistent pain and criminal mind.
dude, I love him doing this style. Oh my god.
Oh, every day and every night.
Oh,
Persistent pain and criminal mind. 내 심장 소리에.
I love the effortlessness of being able to switch languages like that. That is incredible to me. On a musical standpoint, it's so cool because, like, obviously for the stuff that he's singing that I don't know the lyrics for, I feel like the vocals just, there's like such a fucking movement to them anyways, even if you don't know. But then for him to switch to English, you know, deliver like that, go right back in, that's just so cool. It's almost like he's singing and then playing a guitar in a different language. Love it. Oh. How the fuck did I not hear this song? It has 228 million streams. I can't believe I missed out on this. I don't know if maybe they led with this as being a single or maybe just people fucking loved it. But either way, like, I can't believe I missed this. Oh my god. Oh, I would have listened to this album so long ago. Oh. Such an alt-rock kind of sound to it. Dude, someone needs to leak some footage of RM in the studio recording this, because I imagine him going in on that poor microphone right there, because he shows up, you know what I mean? I've said it so many times, but like, you just know when he's on a song, you feel it.
And tell me like gotta be a someone. 난 절대 그들처럼 될 수 없음에.
Oh, one more time. That note is so good. Oh, this is fucking amazing. Yes. I have so many feelings right now. I'm so bummed that this is the first time that I'm hearing this song, because it makes me personally just upset, because in 2022 I was just not in a good place and I missed out on like a lot of music. Like, I kept up with some music, but not a lot. I really didn't do a lot of YouTube at that time. And it's such a bummer because this has a ton of streams, which leads me to believe that it was probably a single off of this, which means that I probably would have listened to it and then probably would have wanted to check this record out, because that song would have pulled me in right away. Even though none of the other songs on this really sound like this, there's a couple moments, but like nothing really sounds like this. This song would have pulled me in right away, piqued all of my interest. I love hearing straight up right away Eugene's vocals on this. She has incredible fucking vocals, and that chorus is so big. It is so well written, but I'm such a fan of the power there, that like gravelly sound, that like intentional kind of like voice crack kind of thing. Being able to do all that in sort of that alternative rock and like pop rock kind of space is so incredible. So having that delivery and then RM coming in, just giving us everything he's got, literally the coolest song on here. I'm fucking obsessed with what we just listened to. Me and 228 million other streams on Spotify agree that this is a fucking banger, and it just, oh my god. I'm so stoked about this song. What the fuck? There's just so much to love that just happened. Something about RM on a track like this, and I can say that forever, because it feels like every time he does a track, I just say RM on a track like this. But I think that really just goes to show kind of like the reach of an artist. A track like that could mean almost anything when it comes to RM at this point. This is the last track. This is number 2, featuring Park Ji-yoon. Park Ji-yoon. It's probably not right.
네가 널 지켜줄 거야. 그대 여전히 뒤돌아보지 마. 넌 다해 슬프냐.
Gotta look up the lyrics, you already know. Okay, my love, don't look back anymore. After all those waves pass through, even if countless things bother you, you will protect yourself now. My love, don't look back anymore. Behind the clearly mixed memories, these remaining lives stay like a bonus. You've done your best.
특별하지 않아 이제 네 말에 옳지 않아 I smile that I ain't gotta prove myself that I hate 도 바로 가득 차 터져버린 나의 풍선 터지고
Emotional RM is sick, and I also feel like Emotional RM is speaking to himself. That whole first verse that Park Ji-yoon has is essentially just reminding you to not always look to the past, but sometimes just embrace the future lives that you have. Embrace the one that you have now and what you can do in the future, because nothing can be changed about the past, but we can spend all day looking back. And what I love is that RM comes in on his verse, and it's literally him like reminding himself, like, why do I hate these things? Why do I fall into, these traps and all this stuff? Almost like having to remind himself to stay positive, to try to look for what the positive could be, because being here is already a positive. It's already better than yesterday because you were able to come here today too, and waking up is already the best gift you can get, right?
최선을 다해 스피냐
그대 여전히 뒤돌아보지 마. 그 많은 파도 다 지난 뒤에 무수한 만일이 널 괴롭혀.
So I was just reading more, and I feel like this song also kind of stands as a reminder that like the things you've experienced in the past don't have to necessarily define the rest of your life. She even says those mixed memories that you have. And I think that's a big thing too, is when we look into the past, we always look and try to like remember things, or maybe we misremember those things, and maybe they weren't as great as they were, or maybe they weren't as bad as we thought that they were. And I think that that can also play a big role into it. So it's why digging into the past and nostalgia, while it can be fun at times, it can be very detrimental to your future if you can't get out of being stuck in the past. Oh yeah.
No looking back, no looking back, don't look back no more. No looking back, no looking back. 최선을 다해 스피야, so no looking back, no.
I love this. Don't look back. I think this is such a big thing to take away from this record. I think if you can walk away with any other thing, walk away with this. Don't look back. The more that you spend time looking back, the longer it takes you to embrace the future. And look, I can sit here and talk this shit all day, but I'm gonna be real with you. I live in the past. Are you kidding me? My brain lives in the fucking past. And I think that probably adds a lot of fuel to the depression that I have today. And I think that when I hear this song, I immediately feel like, man, Steven, I should stop looking at the past. I really should embrace my future, embrace my now and the future. There's nothing I can do to change what's already happened. And just diving into those memories and letting them affect what I do today, while there is, a positive to be seen in your past experiences, I think overall we would all agree that, like, if you had some bad shit happen, remember that you had bad shit happen and then move on from it. Try to move forward. It's easier said than done, but ideally that's what we would do. This gives me that sort of, and I think a lot of it comes down to the fact that I feel like RM is speaking to himself throughout this entire record. I feel like he's addressing things publicly, but really just to himself. And it's that level of intimacy is really fucking sick. Like somebody being able to just be that honest, raw, and real. And in this song, that's kind of what I'm getting here. I'm getting him just trying to remember that all the things that you feel, that you've been through and you've experienced and all those things doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're holding on to a relationship that existed before. It doesn't matter if you're holding on to a piece of your life that you loved before. You have to let it go and look forward. Otherwise, you're never going to be able to move forward and move on with anything else in your life. And with that, I feel like it's a perfect way to end this record. This is a very different album from the other two that we listened to, and I love that because it is consistent in the style in which you can never know what to expect from RM. But what I love about it is I feel like we got him singing a lot through this. I feel like we had a lot of rap, which I'm a huge fan of. I love him in his rap mode, but I also love the combination of having that with him singing in this. He has a very beautiful voice, and it is just ever present on these tracks. So not only are you getting him, straight up showing up to rap, but he's also making these very like modern pop rap songs. Essentially, you have these like really catchy hooks, very well written, very well sang, good features, but then he would also have these verses that have those hip hop styles. So to me, this is very radio accessible hip hop in a cool way, but it's got a blend of pop elements. It has a really cool blend of pop rock. I am such a big fan of Wildflower. To me, that song, it's such a standout in so many ways. Like, one, it would have pulled me into this record right away, but two, that song could exist on its own and become everybody's favorite song. It is just so well written. It's put together really cool, and it shows a really cool side of RM. I feel like of the 3 records that we've listened to from RM so far, I don't even know how I could rank these. I think because they're all so different, they all kind of stand alone as their own piece. I feel like Right Place, Wrong Person was very introspective. I also feel like Indigo is very introspective. I feel like though he's talking about topics that we can take and look at them from a broader range so that these songs can really fit with our styles, I also kind of feel like he's painting a very specific pen to himself. I feel like he is very much having a conversation with himself, and that alone brings up something very big to me. Like, I'm just a really big fan of people that are willing to put their own stuff out there to kind of like guide themselves, but also guide others. And this is very big, especially with it's hard because there's 2 things going on. On one hand, I want to talk about it being like a personal thing about relationships and all this other stuff, and I feel like that exists there. But I also feel like there's another side of this with him being a big member of a very big band, and I think that plays a role into this because track 1 starts it off right away by him addressing that. I want to be a human before I show my art. And I think that listening to this record, I always had that in mind while also listening to these different things. But I feel like with Yun, with Still Life, with All Day, with Forgetful, with Change a little bit, with Wildflower maybe a little bit, but with number 2, I feel like all those songs cater as reminders to live. Embrace the feelings that you have, embrace the memories that you have, but try not to hold on to the past, but let's move towards the future. Let's live life with no regret. We can't do anything about what's already happened, but we can try to move forward with that. And I don't know if RM is somebody who maybe struggles with mental health. I feel like I can ruminate a lot about the past if I have enough time by myself, which, takes me to like Lonely, where he talks about being in hotel rooms, sick of it, wanting to go home, wanting to be able to just see his family, wanting to be able to escape these moments, because sometimes when you are alone with your own thoughts, that can be the most detrimental. So Indigo is incredible, along with Mono and Right Place, Wrong Person, and I'm just having so much fun listening to RM's music. So please let me know in the comment section what other stuff from RM I should be listening to. I think he has another mixtape, so if that's true, I will definitely be reacting to that. I really can't get enough of this dude right now. I'm not just saying that, like, I'm showing that. I am putting these videos out. I'm having so much fun checking out his music. His like love for production, his just experience in production mixed with his rap style. Obviously, he's influenced by some really cool stuff. When all that comes together, he makes very, very interesting music. And honestly, it leaves me wanting more every time. And if you're going to give somebody who listens to this much music that much curiosity, you absolutely know that I'm going to be diving further in. So you guys gotta let me know what your favorite tracks on this are. Honestly, because of like having to read the lyrics and stuff, I feel like I can't pick 3 right now. I feel like I need to listen to these more when I'm not trying to read the lyrics, or being able to check the lyrics out so that I can really jam. But I will tell you right away, the biggest song on this, and I'm not just saying that because it has the most streams, my favorite song, landslide, is Wildflower. That song stands out in the most beautiful way. But I hope you guys enjoy this. Make sure to check out Patreon if you watch the full uncut album listening party where we jam the whole thing. We don't cut anything out, so if you want to check that out, as well as that same style from Mono and Right Place, Wrong Person, the link's in the description. Let me know your favorite tracks in this, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.